is a cold start. I haven't done anything at all to this car yet. Let's see what it'll do. Not bad! Today we're going to do something a little bit different. On Dirk's Corvette, we're going to make what I call an overview video. So since he's super far away and can only rely on pictures, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a video just showing everything wrong with the car that I can find. And then between him and me, we'll decide what he wants to fix later or what he wants me to fix now. So first, let's start with the fun part. Let's start in the engine bay. We'll look around there for all those things and go from there. So I hope you guys enjoy this. It'll probably be a long, boring video for most of you, but it might teach you something. So let's do it. Alright, so we are here in the engine bay. And the first thing I noticed when I popped the hood is that this hood latch doesn't have a very good spring on it. It doesn't return itself when you pull it. So I'll pull it and it will stay down like that and need to be pushed back up. So that might be a grease thing. That might be need a new spring. You see that? Watch. Pulls and it stays down. It's supposed to pop back up. And I'm pushing the handle back in to do that. That needs to be addressed because if you pull it and you don't push the handle back in, the hood won't close. Alright, so where to begin? Let's go on the other side of the car. Other than that, the hood closes fine, opens and closes fine. The cables on the hood look actually new. That hood cable looks new. We are missing the insulation that goes on top of it, and also this is a 73, so it has a cold air induction flapper right here, which is missing. It runs on a solenoid and it's not there. So what it's supposed to do when you mash on the gas is supposed to open a flapper that's right here, and then it sends cold air into the stock breather, which is also missing, but again, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, so next we have, I did notice when this car was running, this fan clutch continues to spin once the engine is turned off. That is, I don't know if that's cooling right now, but maybe in a hot summer it might. We have an correct style radiator. We're missing the AC condenser in front of it. Correct style radiator shroud and extension. Correct style fan. It looks like there's been a recent water pump that has been put on this motor. And this motor is purple. What in the world? I've never... Can you guys see that? That's a straight up purple motor. So to me there's no reason to see if it numbers matching, but heck, it might be. The bottom of this motor is orange and the top is purple. Somebody wanted this motor to be purple. Okay. So, see these little numbers on the block? They end in 03976. And if we go to the VIN, we can see if they match. Now I'm not going to show everybody the VIN for Dirk's safety. 03976. So this is actually, believe it or not, a numbers matching car. That actually explains a lot of things. So if Dirk wanted to, he could actually put this all back to stock. So we have AC lines that are connected to nothing. That's a factory AC car. Aftermarket carburetor, obviously. Intake is an Airbag Edelbrock intake. It's actually not a bad intake if you're going to pick a small block intake. Cheesy chrome 350 valve covers with no PCV system, which I think's silly, but you know, what can you do? We have heater hoses that are the ugly steel braided heater hoses, which I dislike a lot. We have leaky valve covers, which can be remedied. One thing I thought was interesting, if you look down here, there's oil in the bottom of this intake. I cleaned it up a little bit last time, but I don't know where in the world that would be leaking from, but there is leaky oil. We have a stupid, cheesy super coil from Excel, which, I mean, stock just looks so much better. And then there's that. Let's go to the other side. Belts look fairly new. Correct pulleys. Here's something that's weird. So you see, I'm gonna see if I can get this on camera. We have 2 rubber lines right here, and then the metal lines underneath. And which ones go to the fuel pump, I do not know. But we have 4 fuel lines going to the fuel pump. So obviously, only 2 are being used, and the other 2 have no idea what in the world they did with them. You know what they might be? They might be the radiator lines. We'll have to see. I think that's what they are. Looking at, if you look right there, those 2 lines look a lot like they're going to the transmission. The transmission cooler lines that go to the radiator. I think that's what those are. We'll have to look. It's got a starter shield on the starter. It's got aftermarket headers. The plugs look really old, but it does run decent. Can't believe this motor's numbers are matching. There's so much bubble all over it. Alright. Other side. Got a new brake booster and master cylinder, at least new-ish. Same with the alternator, new-ish. These A-arm covers look pretty good. There's lots of shims in that A-arm, but you know, they're about even on both sides, so that's good. This car has cruise control, which I highly doubt that works, but that's actually kind of amazing to see that in such an early car. At least my 73 doesn't have cruise control. That might be why the some of the gauges inside don't work. Original rag joint, original steering box. Oil looks decent. Actually looks like there might be too much in there. Alright, and then we have just spaghetti everywhere. Obviously the wipers I believe work, but the pump is obviously disconnected. I believe this car used to be a different color, but whatever, that doesn't matter. Alright, so okay, obviously I'm not going to try the wipers out because there's no wiper blades on them. They need new arms. Yeah, that part's totally broken right there, so it needs new wiper arms. I might have a set of these in my spare parts, but yeah, it's missing this one completely. So obviously there is no wiper action going on. So don't drive it in the rain. So that's the engine bay. Let's go to the outside. We're going to go ahead and move on to the outside of the car. Now, it might sound like I'm picking Dirk's car apart, but what I want to do is I want to show him absolutely everything that is wrong or could be fixed on the car. Now, I think the biggest thing this car is going to need is paint. I know in the pictures that he got, that I got, and all that kind of thing, it actually looks pretty good, but when you get it in person, it's not that great. So the first thing everybody might notice is this 73 actually has a 75 through 79 front clip on it. So really isn't much of a difference other than if you look at a 73 or 74 Corvette, they don't have these 2 bumperettes right here. And also the body line comes to a straight point like this. And other than that, that's the only difference. So I figured we'd start over here. So at this door, we got a few cracks, a few paint blemishes right there. Rocker panel looks good all the way across, no dents or creases. Of course the car's dirty. It would look better if I cleaned it up. A few rock chips right there. Just a couple right here. If you look right here, there's some body filler right here that's pulling apart right here. I'm pretty sure it got tapped and then they put a different front clip on it. It's got the correct spoiler on it, which is good. The 75 and up cars, the bumperettes are supposed to be painted black. This one's not. There's a few chips right here on the headlight door. Alright, so we got some incorrect. For 73 they had metal headlight bezels. They also had metal grills. Both of these are plastic. And the headlight bezels are black. I'm assuming that this side is going to be the same. Yep, those are black. There's also some paint issues right here along this panel. The hood has a lot of paint issues. I know this car used to be a darker red before it got painted this color of red. It looks like it was a cheap overspray job. There's also a break right there in the hood. Coming around the other side, scratch there, some scratches, some pits, blah blah blah. This rocker panel does look good. If you look right here, there's a couple of paint chips. You can see the darker red the car used to be. There's a bunch of stuff right here. This door doesn't seem like it lines up very well. I don't know if that's an adjustment thing. The top lines up really nicely, but the bottom half doesn't. There's the one-piece top, the rear deck. My only complaint is the paint's pretty thin. There's a little chip right there. Aftermarket antenna, which is not correct. Everything looks good under there. One thing that's weird though is that they didn't paint the butt of the car, so it's kind of hard to tell unless you're in direct sunlight, but you can see how the back of the car is actually a darker red than like the side. I don't know if that shows up, but they didn't paint it at all. You can see a line right along here where they just kind of stopped painting. Looks like there's a little bit of Bondo work right here, but other than that, it's solid. All the lights work, all the lenses are in good shape. It's got the spare tire tub. One thing I do want to mention is that all this black, which will probably come off, is because this tire blew out while the car was being driven 250 miles to where I got it, and I'll show you why. So these tires, they look really good, right? They got lots of tread, there's no dry rot, blah blah blah, but guess what? See that date stamp? This one's from 2002. 52nd week of 2002. That's an old tire. Next we'll come over here. This one is the second week of 2003. And then this one, which doesn't match the front, is the 26th week of 2007. This one actually looks a lot crappier than the rest of them. But I do have new tires in the garage that will get put on the car. So underneath the car, take a look what we see. So this car had a lot of rear end work done, at least according to the papers that came with it. So looks like the shocks have been replaced at one point. The rear end, I don't know why they didn't paint the rear end cover. I don't know if you guys can see that. The diff cover is all rusty because they didn't paint it. It does have Flowmaster exhaust. The exhaust, it looks like it's been replaced front to back, connected to headers, so that's all. It's all new. Brake line in the back here looks new. Yeah, they did the. Oh, it's got a fiberglass leaf spring. I didn't notice that. That's been replaced. The body mounts look good. The frame looks good. Let's go around the front. Once I get a lift, it'll make this job a lot easier. Alright, so we have a rust-free radiator support, and that's good. Looks like they actually put the whole 75 and up front end bracketry on it. It's got new headlight relays. It's got one new headlight relay. Other than that, frame looks good. Looks like a little bit of actually looks like a fuel pump leak. You can kind of see it. That might be need something to look at. Caliper is new. They didn't paint it. Let's see. The shocks don't look too new, but it's rust free and it's straight, so looks pretty good. Let's go check the inside. So according to the door panels, this car came with standard interior, which means it has the incorrect carpet in it. It's supposed to have 80/20 loop. Here are the codes. Trim is 415. The paint is 947. From what I can tell, it used to be tan interior and Elkhart green, which is exactly the same colors that my Corvette used to be. Interesting. Everybody likes red and black. So, looking at the interior, door panels are in fairly decent shape. That's got the original tire sticker right there. It's got an aftermarket steering wheel to make it smaller. I personally like the bigger steering wheel. It's got these C5 seats in it, which aren't correct, but they're fairly comfy. It's got a leather wrapped center console piece, which is not correct, but it is in there. It's not installed correctly either because it overlaps. It's got aftermarket seat belts, which I don't believe are correct either. It's got a shifter knob that's chrome. It shouldn't be chrome. It's got a really crappily installed radio. It's got broken AC vents. I'm not even going to bother to try the wipers. It's got, somebody put screws in this door, I can't see, somebody put screws in this door panel which aren't correct. It's got new door handles. Those have been replaced. That's incorrect as well. Just gonna have a screw there. This one also, they just didn't figure out how to put it on, so they drilled a screw. So stupid. Okay, it's got good door pulls. Weather stripping is actually fairly decent. Let's see, here's the T-tops, and I'm assuming the paint on these T-tops is going to be even with the rest of the car. They got chips and scratches and blah blah blah. Original liners that definitely have been dyed. So got the light in the back that does not work. Let's see, all the interior panels are all original, broken, and of course have been dyed. But it's a driver, so who cares? That doesn't, I don't believe that screws in with these kind of screws. Got different kind of screws. It's got the correct 73 mirror. It's got working head visors. That's good. This mirror is just nasty on the other side, but that's an easy thing to fix. Alright, let's go ahead and start it up and see what works and what doesn't. So, start with the tilt. That works. That's the telescope. Sorry. I'm going to try to do this with one hand. I don't think I can. Alright. That worked. It's hard to film and do that at the same time. Let's start it up. Alright, so clock does not work. Oil pressure works. Fuel gauge, I believe, works. Water temp does not. And then I don't think that battery gauge is working. Freak to turn this on. Ah! That's not what I wanted to do. There we go. no wiper arms. Not getting any kind of blower motor action at all. HVAC obviously, the AC obviously doesn't work. I'm just wondering if the heater works. I'm not getting any kind of blower motor at all. Yeah, that doesn't work.